Okay, hello, it's me. I'm back again, unfortunately. Uh, it's now post-Soto, and the expansion actually went really well. It was better than than pretty much everyone thought it would be. It was as good as I thought it would be, probably. Maybe a little better, to be honest. I think they got a lot more in than I thought they would, but I'm just here to rant a little bit, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this Nightmare Fractal and just kind of solo, and if I feel like talking about stuff, I kind of just want to talk about like what it's like being a part of this community right now, and kind of just like how it feels like people just don't want the game to succeed or want to give this studio credit for anything they do, and they view all the successes that this game has as like expected and par for the course, when it's pretty clear that's not been the case. But anyway, I'm just gonna go in here and do this Nightmare Fractal and maybe rant about like I just kind of feel like the community just doesn't want this game to succeed, and so I don't know. I'm just gonna yell into the mic for a little bit.
Are those tree people? They look angry. Be careful.
Those are tree people. They do look angry. Not as angry as me. So we're just on this Selly.
You again? What preposterous sum have the Inquest promised you for haranguing me? Wasn't the damage to the TTR enough? Oh my. Judging by your slack jaw and torpid silence, it seems I misunderstood your involvement. Please, follow me. Apologies for the golems and the gladiator. I presumed you were sent to collect a debt. I can see I was hasty. I'll get the door. My device was damaged in the prior chaos, so I've lost a bit of control, but I'm still quite capable.
My name is Ark. We should form a mutually beneficial
Alliance! The odds are against our survival otherwise.
Let's discuss our team strategy. You hit...
these creatures harder than they hit you.
I'll prepare my shield.
Alright, so we're just doing the Nightmare Fractal. We beat up Ark in the Chaos Fractal and foiled his plans to reunite with Mama, so he's here trying to make it happen in a less sound way, much more dangerous way. So we're gonna see if we can solo this Fractal. I've done this before on other builds. We'll see if this build can do it. The biggest threat here is actually the second boss, because it actually requires a little bit of healing power, unless you have just like insane DPS potential, but we'll see how it goes.
Ah, a fascinating monstrosity.
Intricate, delicately balanced.
Exquisitely dangerous. You'll regard it.
But yeah, I just like, I'm just not sure like what the point is of like trying to be a like positive force in the game is right now, because I feel like a lot of people just don't want Guild Wars 2 to like continue succeeding, and I think it's like partially to do with just like this is how games die, you know, just naturally. Is like good games go away because people just like are ready for them to go away. And I think despite the successes of Soto, there are a lot of people in the Guild Wars 2 community right now who are just ready for this game to go away. They just like are tired of Guild Wars 2 like having the audacity to be good 11 years in, and
Wondrous design, if flawed. Its
I don't know what
remains
art
may
talk.
prove useful. Mother always said, innovate the implements you're given. Nevertheless, well thought. Now regroup and prepare for more ferocious foes ahead.
Yeah, I just think from like all angles, there's just so much
A
critical
physical obstacle to
voice,
confound and
so many critical
demoralize the
voices
spatially
around
inept.
Guild Wars 2 right now, and I feel like the people who are not being critical are just being very too understanding, I would say, of the voices who are just ready to shit on everything. And like, sorry for my language, but I mean, it's just like that's what it feels like right now. Is that there are people in the community whose like entire goal is just to shit on everything, and and just be bad actors and just hate on the game, even if they're wrong. And so I just don't think Guild Wars 2 can survive that, especially when it's coming from like huge content creators and people who used to be like well respected and like showcased their love of the game in the past. And I just don't think it's the game's fault. Like, I think Guild Wars 2 has only ever improved. I feel like every expansion the game gets better, and because it's a horizontal progression game with evergreen content, it just like the game gets better. There's always more stuff to do. The good stuff in the past doesn't go away,
Moving, there are more altars ahead.
but people are just more and more angry at the game for not being what they want it to be. And like what they want it to be is they want it to be retail WoW, retail Final Fantasy, and they just can't accept that like ArenaNet is not Square Enix or Blizzard, and they can't give them like retail WoW experience or retail Final Fantasy experience. They just don't have the funds to make a game like 5 times the size of the one they're currently making and maintain the qualities of Guild Wars 2 that make it what it is and make it stand out against those games. Because in a lot of ways, Guild Wars 2 is just so much better than WoW and Final Fantasy 14. It just doesn't have the financial or the name recognition backing that those games have, or the manpower that those games have. And it's just like I feel like the community is just like super antagonistic at this point in the lifespan of Guild Wars 2. I feel like most of the people who are still around are here because they just don't know where else to go and they can't make it in other games. Like, they just don't have the platform in other games that they do here, and they never will. And so they're just like, they've decided that if they can't be happy, then everyone should be mad and upset at Guild Wars 2. And it's just a weird state, because like I feel like what was going on heading into Soto
This maze is ample proof that violence is your
is
strong
that
suit.
1 second.
Speaking of which, let's move forward.
Is that everybody was like super ready to shit on the game and super ready to like
We're nearing the ultimate experiment. An entity utilizing a kernel of remarkable
like
power.
call the game dead and say that like this they had no confidence and all this stuff. But then Soto turned out pretty good, and so now they're like confused as to what they should be doing. Like I just see a bunch of content creators and like they were so ready to go in on Soto. Like they were like super ready. They're like rubbing their hands together, you know, like little raccoons. They're like ready. They're so ready to shit on Soto, and then it ended up being really good. And everyone who's not a jaded vet with 20k hours was like, or even some of the people who are jaded vets with 20k hours but actually like the game still, like, are gonna make it impossible for them to hate on it and say that it was bad. And so now they're just lost and they don't know what to do. But I feel like they're just waiting for that next opportunity to shit on the game and to be critical.
A remarkable tactic. Stay alert.
And I, as a veteran player with like way too many hours in this game, right, way too many, right, almost 8k, I've logged probably 150 since Soda release, which is absolutely uncool. Not, I shouldn't have, but it was just good. Whoops, canceled stuff, but yeah, I just feel like people are just super ready to just be bad actors and to be a negative voice and to continue platforming themselves on their negativity. Okay, I have to kind of pay attention to this fight, because this is, like I said, the one that will get you. And I'm getting got. But yeah, I just don't know. Like, I'm trying so hard to, like, spread positivity and awareness of, like, the good things about this game, because I think one of the things that often gets, like, is, like, the free pass to shit on right now is the story. And the story has been consistently improving and consistently good and way better than core since, like, I would say everything up through starting at the second half of season 2 has been golden. Like, just way better than anything else I've played in an MMO story. And I don't know. It's just like I feel like at every angle from every people I used to respect a ton as, like, the lore people, like the people whose videos I used to watch, the people who I would go to for expertise, are just, like, so lost in the sauce of their, like, hypercritical, nitpicky, petty little, like, bullshit opinions. Like, sorry, I don't want to be like that guy that's, like, telling everybody they don't know what they're talking about, but, like, they're just, like, proving to me time and again that they don't know what they're talking about, and they just are. And, like, because they have clout already, it's impossible to convince them that they don't know what they're talking about. And so it's like, I'm just sitting here as someone who, like, respects the lore, understands that, like, that the people writing for this game are paid to write for it and have been trying really hard to do their best job, like, to do the best they can with, like, the resources they're given and the amount of space they have to actually, like, control where the game goes and what to focus on. And it's just like, I don't see the point of it. Like, I'm not getting anywhere. I feel like I've put in so much work to get good at it that I'm, like, practically a fortune teller at this point. Like I know I'm gonna sound like a braggart when I say that, but I'm just like, I'm like so tuned in right now to what I think's gonna happen that, like, but it doesn't matter. Like, I feel like I predicted the Soto, like, trajectory almost exactly, and it, like, it doesn't mean anything because no one in this community is ready to give Guild Wars 2 what it's due and admit that, like, they don't know what they're talking about. And so I'm just, like, sitting here, I'm like, what the heck is the point even? You know, like, why am I trying? And the developers can't say anything. Like, in another game, you'd see developers push back, but this community has, like, the most renowned incident for this community ever. Still, the most, like, the thing we're known for is developers getting fired for pushing back against community members who didn't know what they were talking about because they did it in a rude way. And so now every developer at ArenaNet's just like, I don't want to be that guy. Like, I don't want to be the person who gets, like, and nobody wants to be that guy, right? No one wants to be the person who gets roped in to a discussion with a player and the player just, like, and it just devolves, right? Because what happens is developers just sit on these feelings, right? And they sit on them and they don't respond, and they don't respond, they keep their cool, and then the one time they respond, they go a little too hard, and it's just like, in other games, it might be fine, right? Like, I play TFT a lot, and TFT, if Mortdog tell you you're, like, a little shit and you need to shut up and you don't know what you're talking about, everyone's like, awesome, Mortdog. Everybody's like, clap, 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 good job, Mortdog. Put him in his place, tell him how being a developer is. I feel like in Guild Wars 2, you could do the exact same thing and be completely right, and you'd lose your job for it and hurt the game irrevocably. Like, there'd be no recovering for Guild Wars 2 if a developer did that, and it's just this weird double standard nonsense. And again, I'm just ranting here because I'm bored and
Here we are.
I just don't know what the point
This will
is.
be our most ambitious
I feel like the
and
game is so
lethal
good,
challenge today.
and
But with great
it
risk
doesn't matter.
come great
It
reward.
doesn't matter that the game is good.
Now listen closely. It could save your life. The creature in there is extremely volatile. We must work together. At times you may feel that you are overmatched. You must pay close attention to my commands. Given your destructive adroitness, there may even be a chance you won't be obliterated.
Go on. Given your penchant for murdering things, your mathematical chance of surviving is greater than 0.
Alright, so here we have Encelis, the Nightmare Incarnate. The darkness is him. And yeah, I guess just the point I'm trying to make is that, like, I feel like the community is not participating in a wholesome, in like a constructive way. with the ArenaNet developers, and and I think like they've given them too many chances. They've tried, like they're trying so hard. I feel like ArenaNet's trying so hard to still please these people, and I'm just like, it's just like you got to focus on the things that matter and the things that like continue making a good game, and just slowly weed these people out of your circles because they're not being helpful anymore, and their goal is to get the clickbait vid and make money off of your failure. Like that's where they are with their interactions with Guild Wars 2 right now. Is a lot of people, their goal is to get traction by shitting on the game, and so you just have to take these abusive ex partners, ex content creator friends, the people you respect, people that I respect a lot. Like, I don't think people realize this is like, I'm not really a content creator, I'm a concerned citizen, right? CC doesn't stand for content creator for me, it stands for concerned citizen. I was activated because I just felt like the only content I was seeing was people shitting on the game, and the game wasn't bad, right? It's just like the only thing I'm seeing from everybody on all angles, with the exception of like a select few people, mostly like the female creators, it was negativity. Just and like a lot of it baseless, like especially around the lore. I just feel like people just don't know what they're talking about, and it just doesn't matter because they've already platformed themselves. No one's gonna get over the top of their bad opinions and have a louder voice than them, so it literally doesn't matter what you do. And yeah, I feel like it doesn't matter. I feel like people are here to shit on the game, and they want it to fail, and they're mad that it didn't fail. Like, I feel like genuinely there are people, content creators right now, who are mad that Soto didn't fail because they wanted to make their shitty, their like shit talking clickbait stuff, and they can't now. And this is going to be every expansion cycle. This is going to be the case. It's like every content release, every balance patch, they're ready. They're ready and waiting to take a dump on the game. And I just don't know what to do about it. Like, I just feel lost. Like, I feel like unless I like spend like a year or more like cozying up to these people and like developing good faith before I tell them that their opinions are shit, like then it doesn't matter. Like I could be right about everything, right? Like I said, I could basically look like a freaking fortune teller and predict the future of all future expansion stories just by like understanding that the writers aren't shit. And it won't matter because these people aren't even capable of the introspection to like ask the question like, hey, how did you know that? You know, like, oh my god, that guy was right. How the fuck did he know that? Like, they're just not capable. They're just incapable. It's beyond their capacity. This is super boring when you solo.
Fears. All your delirium.
You've gotta hit the blue orbs. And these things heal for like infinite, so
Die in terror.
I'm just gonna listen to the beautiful track. I don't remember who wrote this. I think it was one of their like I don't want to say guest composers, but like one of the people who's not like McLean or what's his face, Soul, or Stan. Maybe did Stan? I don't think Stan wrote this. But yeah, I just don't know what to do. I feel like I'm just sitting here waiting for the chance that these creators get to shit on the game and kill it for good. And I'm just not sure. I'm not sure. I feel like it's just super stressful. Like I feel stressed about a game, about a studio I don't work for, and about a game that like I played for fun for the vast majority of, like, just for fun. Like I wasn't here to be competitive. Wasn't here to do anything. I'm still really not. But it's just like I just feel so stressed about the community sentiments around this game because they're being led by people who, like, in any other world would have lost their platform already or have moved on to a different game, but these creators can't because they literally just don't have a platform outside of Guild Wars 2. And the second they stop playing this game, they'll have like 10 viewers. So it's just like, I don't know. I feel like I'm fighting an unwinnable battle. I feel like ArenaNet's fighting an unwinnable battle, and I'm just coming at it from a lore side, and I think that's the most winnable battle, and I'm still losing. I'm still feel completely overwhelmed by the fact that people can't like understand the lore and appreciate how good it actually is, how good the story and writing is for this game. And I don't know. I'm just like, it's just sad. I don't know. I'm just sad. I'm sad that this is what happens for Guild Wars 2, because I feel like their game's doing such a bad job that their communities love them, and it's so wholesome to see. And I want that to be us, and it will never be us again. I feel like the ship has sailed, and we're just beyond it. And I don't know. I'm just talking to myself here, basically. I just like feel good when I say the words. And I'm doing such a poor job at saying it. Again, this is just an unhinged rant. Yeah, I can die now. Thank you, Encelis. You can just listen to the pretty music. Cry ourselves to sleep later. So, yeah, I just don't know, because like I feel like they're just like, there's nothing ArenaNet could do except for like blackmail NCSoft East, like the parent company, to actually give them money, and it'll never happen because they just don't have the community behind them. The community is ready to see them fail, or at least the parts of the community that can establish that sentiment. Because there are so many people who want to do good, and there are people who are doing good and are being positive. They just don't have that much of a platform, and so it just doesn't matter. And they're considered casual, and therefore their opinions are bad. Even though Guild Wars 2 is like the casual MMO, for whatever reason, the top creators in this game are all like hardcore simps who like. And it's funny because it's just like, no one who's really good at video games is playing Guild Wars 2. Like, I hate to say it, but like, if you were good at another game, you'd play another game, right? You'd be able to play another game, and you wouldn't have to be here crying, you know. But people aren't good at other games, and so they're here, and for whatever reason, they have a huge platform with this game, and they hate it. They hate playing the game because they play a game that you should probably play for 6 to 10 hours a week. They play it 60 hours a week, and so they're just beyond done with the game.
Quickly! Retreat inside my shielding!
I will not be destroyed by such as you.
Yeah. So you can see that Reaper is very strong in solo content. This is like a Selly Bleed Reaper. And so here you can see that Encelis is channeling the darkness, and because we're Reaper, we kind of break the the visual effects here because of Reaper Shroud, because we go into the, like, it uses the same, so like you see we're back in the visual effects now that we're in Reaper Shroud, but for whatever reason it bugs out with Reaper. But this is kind of looks like this. Sometimes it just looks like darkness. But yeah, so there you go. Solo Nightmare. This one's really easy to solo, I think. Like, super easy.
And now it's time that I terminate our verbal contract. Your recklessness has served my purpose.
But yeah, so Ark's gonna take the little orb
You take solace in knowing your destructive exuberance has at
and
least
go try to
the
rip
ledger
the fabric
between
of
us.
reality apart to to
I can
be
reconstruct
with his
the
mommy
diaphanous
again.
diffraction
Isn't that
randomizer,
wholesome?
and you no longer have to
Unlike
feel
the Guild Wars
guilty
2
for
community
derailing
right now.
my mission. Now, excuse me. I'm here for more than tourism and indiscriminate pillaging. You're of no further use. Stay out of my way.
Bye, Ark. But yeah. Anyway, this is me ranting.
You did it! Oh,
Hi, Dessa.
you look unhealthy. We should probably quarantine you when you
I am
return.
unhealthy. It's all the doom. Doom has infected me. My positivity was overwhelmed. Overmatched, as Ark would say. Is that what he says? He says overmatched. What does he say here? Overmatched. That's overmatched. Alright. But yeah, so that's Nightmare. This is a fun little Fractal. Again, I feel like ArenaNet have been doing things with this game that just no one is even trying to do in the MMO space. Like, I honestly want them to make like a Souls-like or something, like a story-driven single-player game, because their game is almost to that quality. And if they didn't have to focus on all the MMO shit that they get like dumpstered on about, even when it's not correct, even when it's not justified, they can make like a fucking 10 out of 10 game. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like Guild Wars 2 is such a great game. They keep releasing W content, like hard W, like End of Dragons was a W. The Gyal Delve patch, like honestly, in hindsight, really wasn't that bad. Like if they released that whole thing, both halves, all the collections, and the Fractal in one patch, that was a killer patch. But they don't have any money, right? They're just ArenaNet's poor. You know, they're broke bitches. You know, they just don't have any money. They're poor, and so they had to spread that out over 8 months instead of what it should have been, which is like every week it gets a little update for a month, and then we go into Soto, and then 2 months after Soto releases, we get the same deal. Everything releases in a month's time, and then we go on to the next thing. But ArenaNet doesn't have any money. They don't have the people to be able to do that. Their game is more complex than most other MMOs, like, so that they just can't do that. It's just too short a time. Like they can't increase the time like it takes them to make stuff, and people desperately want them to be on the like subscription model timeline, which is too fast for a game like Guild Wars 2, and so they're gonna keep leaking out these like half patches, like quarter patches, like the quarterly patches. They're not gonna be very big. They're gonna be small. Everyone's gonna be mad about them. There's nothing they can do to fix that, really. Like I just don't see them succeeding in that, which I mean isn't their fault, basically, is what I'm saying. It's like the community wants from them something that they can't give, or the community thinks they want those things from them, and they're going to be mad about that when they're given it by ArenaNet come November, when this when we get that first patch and it's like an hour's worth of content, you know, because hours worth of story plus maybe like another 10, 15, 20 hours worth of side content. You know, it's just like they're not going to be satisfied, and they're gonna take their opportunity, right? They're opportunists, and the second that releases and there's something they can complain about, they're gonna go in on it, and they're gonna act magnanimous. They're gonna act like, well, I wanted to see them. Like they're gonna say the things, and they're not gonna mean them, right? Like you got to look at how people act. Like what are they actually doing, right? Don't listen to what they say. What do they do, right? And what they do is they shit on the game consistently, without fail, at every opportunity. And then they say the thing, oh, I actually really love Guild Wars 2, as a deflection, right? To be able to deflect from the people who say that they hate the game. You know, that's the, like, when have they done something, like, show me the thing they did that's where they loved the game and acted upon it recently. And it's just few and far between. Fewer and far between. I guess further is the right word. But anyway. So yeah, so this is Nightmare. Guild Wars 2 is a nightmare. They had a really good release with Soto, very, very good. it was a bit fanficky, you know, from the the situation we were in. But I think they did a really good job, uh, and because it was fanficky, people liked it a lot. You know, like people like to see all the races and all this stuff. Like the writing was just as good as it was in End of Dragons. With actually, I would think the character in the Golden Path actually being a little weaker, and it doesn't matter because it's like, oh, there's a seer, oh, there's a dwarf, oh, he can split himself in two, and like, oh, look, there's a Jotun, and she's not ugly. You know, she's blue and she channels the stars. You know, and so it's like the characters don't have to be as good when they're inherently interesting, as opposed to Cantha where they're like all humans and then like a dragon. So it's like, how do you make these characters interesting? It's like you can't. Or like Anka. Like, how do you make people like an Asura? And they succeeded in making people like an Asura, you know? And it just doesn't matter. But anyway, again, nothing matters. Nothing matters. It's all over. The cryptists have got to me, guys. They're playing with my head. I just need to stop watching Twitch TV. And everything will be fine. Stop using forums and Reddit. It'll all be good. Anyway, good job with Soto. Soto was good. I look forward to future patches. I wish this community weren't fucking obnoxious. But, whatever. Alright. Later.